Whilst this series is fan-funded, you will not see any sponsors on these videos. Please consider pledging at the link in the description to my Patreon and keep this series going. Thanks so much. What I adore about this is that because he'd only just arrived that day, of course he didn't have his super nice living space that he has today. Like, who thinks of that? It's so clever.
海賊から盗んだ盗品はすべて政府が預かり受けることになっている。
Can I just say as well that I think it's pretty genius for Arlong to go about it this way? He could have had it stolen, but instead he goes as far as to use the Marines to do it. Incredible voice acting to really relay her utter desperation at the notion of 8 years of tireless work potentially being wasted if they find it.
偉そうな口を叩くな。捜索を続けろ。
Feels like this is a time a writer or a studio could have gone a little cheesy, but instead he shrugs off her insults and merely instructs them to continue, keeping it grounded in realism. Animating multiple characters moving within one scene. I also love the fact that clearly they've been told not to hurt her. She's bashed no less than 6 of them over the head, and they continue to not touch her in any way.
この子の金はこのココヤシ村を救うための金だ。たまらに金を奪う権利があるのか、海軍!
My man speaks up, still clearly a man of honor who could hold his tongue no longer. Got so much respect for this dude, you guys and girls have no idea.
なんでそんなこと。
知っていたよ、ナミ。
Oh, he's literally the best though! This is such an emotional scene because of everything I've seen and heard from him over these past half dozen episodes.
村を救うためにお前がアーロン一味に身を置いてきたこと。
Even hearing the sound the pinwheel on his hat makes is so cool to me now.
我々は知らぬふりをしてきた。お前がアーロンから逃げ出したいと思った時、私たちの期待が足を引っ張ってしまうからだ。
Covering up such a great potential plot hole there about why they'd pretend to not know about her agreement with Arlong all of this time, so she'd have a chance to leave and not feel guilt.
米粒を探してるわけじゃないんだぞ。1億ベリーだ。
様、なぜ金額を知っている?
He continues to be awesome by noting his statement of the exact amount near enough and calling him out on it.
おお、これはすごい。よくも小娘がこれだけ集めたものだ。
Such a good job is done here because I feel sick to my stomach seeing this. Back-to-back wins. First of all, obviously that twist gets a huge win. I can't believe that's how this has turned out. Secondly, that slowed down animation had way more frames than I'd expect from a weekly anime. Was gorgeous stuff.
それじゃ。
あの野郎、俺たちのなっちゃおう。
Felt really good to hear the townspeople's real thoughts and feelings towards Nami spilling out now.
なんであいつ。
A very grumpy Luffy is not something I knew I needed in my life.
お金の上の約束は死んでも守るんじゃなかったの？
Shows the rather extreme strength difference here as she's literally just able to move his clothing.
たかが1億ベリーだろう。また貯めりゃいいじゃねえか。
And now his full plan becomes apparent, and thankfully the story changes to one where Luffy and his crew are now really needed.
しかしあんたもえぐい手を使うな。
何ほど優れた測量士をみすみす逃す手があるか。
Even he isn't massively comfortable with him going back on his word in such a roundabout way.
これまでだ。武器を取れ、戦うぞ。
I'm so impressed by how their spirit was never broken over these 8 years, and right away they're willing to follow him in order to fight back.
じゃいけない。すべて終わっちゃう。生き抜かなきゃ。何もかも終わっちゃう。
I really like this mentality. So often in these kinds of anime, people will rise up and get stuff done, but there's realism in this one. They're clearly going to lose if they fight.
一度は命を捨てることをとどまり誓った。だがこれがあいつらの答えだ。あの子の優しさをもてあそぶあの巨人ども、我々は許さん。依存は。
First of all, although I can't show it all as it's too long, the speech as a whole is magnificent and highly deserving of that win. And secondly, all of these people animated from a distance, and it actually looks good too.
もう少しだけ待ってよ。私は平気だから。
我々の命を一人で背負ってよくここまで戦ってくれた。
Okay, that's enough. Enough of praising this dude without giving max wins for him. It's so rare that I ever click with a side character as much as I have him. He gets those 2 max wins.
よく戦った。
Oh man, they got me again! This story and these characters. I enjoyed Zoro's backstory. I enjoyed Sanji so much, and never did I ever think I could possibly be wowed even more by Nami's. I am!
やめてよみんな。もうあいつらに傷つけられる人を見たくないの。
Between that always gorgeous music and her physically trying to stop them from marching to their collective passing, easy win again to dish out.
行くぞみんな。勝てずとも俺たちの意地を見せてやる。
This dude, he truly is something else, and can I just say, beautifully goes back to a prior win about side characters getting a lot of building. I mentioned that ages ago, and here we are. That's so unexpectedly powerful, between her amazing voice acting, the animators portraying her pain and extreme anger, and then her taking things as far as that. It's max wins again.
出てけ。あんたなんか出てけ。
My god, it's such a simple but such an effective way of showing us how she's almost losing her mind here with Fury.
ルフィ。助けて。
Hell yeah, is all I can say to that moment. Max wins again. Easy to take the decision to issue them out. Well played to Oda there, and everyone involved with the anime.
俺の宝物に触るな。
Her understanding what this moment means to him by this gesture, and how much she means to him that he put it on her head.
ルフィ。行くぞ。
So damn cool, it zooms out and there's the whole crew looking incredibly awesome and waiting for him. I love this anime!
悪いが正気もねえあんたたちにこの扉は譲れねえ。命をかけてもあの人たちは必ずやってくる。
I say again though, it's so damn cool! Also one of the most epic not walking on the spots of all time. You best believe I'm smiling ear to ear right now.
命を変えに来たあの4人の顔を目にしっかり刻みつけておくんだな。
I feel legit ashamed for looking at this anime over the years when I heard about it as being a kid's anime to a degree. You really should never judge something until you've consumed it. This is amazing.
アーロンってのはドイツだ。
Coolness in the first degree! Not only is so much work done on the towns and buildings looking different, but now that the weather has changed, the style they animate them has even changed.
止まらねえと。
That building power structure, like I obviously figured he'd be able to beat some larger riffraff, but now we know. And that right there is exactly why I just gave the last win, because although he allowed himself to be hit, we now know that he can be hit very hard by the likes of Luffy.
うちの航海士を泣かすなよ。
I feel it'll be the word of the last episode in this one, but very much cool. Sanji now entering that power structure and proving how strong his kicks are.
俺がいつてめえの身心配したよ。獲物を独り占めすんなっつってんだ。
あ、そっか。
This is the kind of thing I'm talking about when I say the characters aren't built like a series of repeatable tropes. I've caught some flack for saying Black Clover is like that, but I truly do believe this.
しかし 彼らはなぜ戦うのだ。ナミの姉貴が泣いていた。
Whilst it's not quite as simple as that, it could be boiled down to that in this moment, most definitely, and as a result, comes across very cool. Really didn't have to animate him moving through the scene, but they did it anyway.
なんだあいつか。
魚人の仲間だったのか。
One of the perks of having split the team up at the start of the arc is now seeing his reaction as being totally different to Luffy's and Sanji's.
どこへ行く。こら待て待て中にモーム。
Such an unexpected but great moment that he initially has no intention to try and fight two guys who beat him up. Visually, that looks so stylish and appealing. Brilliant how he learns new ideas for attacks from the things that happen around him, such as noticing the pinwheel. Also though, take one here for the start of the attack as he yells. The voice actress did an incredible job there. The rather insane power of Luffy just on raw display there in the aftermath of that attack.
あんたが怒りのまま暴れちゃこのアーロンパークは粉々に破壊されちまうからな。チュッ。
It must have been such a pain to keep on keeping track of where all the characters should be standing and where all the damage is, and then keep replicating that, but goodness me, they just kept on doing it. Sanji saving Luffy from being crushed by probably his best kick yet in the entire thing.
あいつら今忙しいんだ。俺が相手してやるよ。
Already setting out the order of battle in terms of who will be facing who. I'm so damn hyped for this.
お前らが俺たちを潰してんじゃねえ。俺たちがお前らを潰してんだ。
I actually really like this as a statement, oddly enough. It's like telling him, you're not angry at us, we're seriously angry at you, and it threw him slightly.
てめえ。
A very funny attack, but also a way to set up the third of these elite battles. Loads of not running on the spot!
てめえら全員。何死にたきゃ今すぐ消してやら。
I have to go back to the guy who said Usopp as a coward, but this is like his bread and butter. He's not physically strong like Luffy, so this is how he effectively fights, and it does work. How he still has the time to mention the glass houses type comment as he runs away. For the first time, we get what I call a JoJo type situation where I get a little nervous. That makes for the best kind of battles, as right now, not sure how Luffy can beat him. Oh, you best believe Luffy doing the same thing back to him equals a win.
海に入ればこいつらの思うツボだぞ。水中の戦いじゃ明らかに魚人に利があるんだ。
Half the win is because it's great that Sanji cares enough still here to jump right in after him, but the other half is because it goes back to a prior win, again, of how interesting it is to have different races fighting in different ways. Makes for likely a very interesting variety of battles down the line. Ending the battle with seriously such a JoJo type situation. The only one looking to not be on the ropes there was Zoro.
俺の髪が貴様髪だからなまた生えるしな。
Yes! I was right, he is actually quite a unique villain.
ドリあいた
お前と遊んでる暇ねえんだよ。
Oh man. How he tries a special move to catch the sword with all 6 hands and completely misses.
タコハチナンバー9だから何なんださっさと降りてこい
How truly unique this guy is, but how you can actually hear in Zoro's voice the utter confusion and annoyance.
あのゴムの若者ならば私が助けに行くあんたが
This guy, man, I swear, even when I'm on episode 390, so 10 times on from this one, I'll remember him fondly.
来いそうそう
Super quick, not running on the spot! It's a very quick example, but this is a fresh battle. Each move is different to the last.
No.
It's legit painful to see him getting weaker like this, reminding me of a similar feeling when watching All Might at the end of Season 1 of My Hero Academia, where he's trying to keep up appearances. What can only really be described as a crazy dedication to your craft by animating moving all through the scene, and at a distance no less, and still have it look good. One Piece continues to be very anti-anime by having him be attacked here whilst he's talking. Probably the single best example this arc of impressively remembering where everything has to be placed in the wider scene. Damn good instance of the raw power these guys hold. I legit can't believe that he's back up again. Take a genuinely shocked win.
よちよち這うことになんのは
Although it is funny, what I'm more impressed by is how Oda used his ability to outrun enemies so often. Otherwise, he'd have come across as really useless early on especially.
あの男兄貴5キロ兄貴
な野郎のパンチが40だ
I had a deep down feeling that having a second cool guy character join after Zoro would end up giving me some cool ass moments, and so far I'm not disappointed. That was outstanding because of the animation. He basically fell into an attack that also dodged his enemy's movements, and they showed the whole thing. Bloody brilliant. 2 max wins.
何を望む
俺はあいつの分も強くなるから世界一強い剣豪になるからさ
2 wins here. Firstly, it's that smooth as butter rotating shot. Secondly, it's for linking in this battle right here to not 1, but 2 seriously important moments in his character arc to date. That's hugely creative and well timed.
3本だろうが6本だろうがそんなことは関係ねえ
Take a follow-up here as well for him stating something to his enemy that he himself learned the hard way as a child, which obviously I covered back then.
新春大会生きて着地はさせねえぞ六刀流奥義いいね兄貴
I think it's really clever here that Zoro wasn't exhibiting his dominance by way of strength, but rather via the way he uses his swords, the style and forms his body twists into, and so on.
普通じゃねえ鷹の目に勝つためには普通でいるわけにはいかねえんだ
A prime case of a follow-up to both wins 396 and 398.
なんかにタコスケこれで俺とお前の剣の重みの違いが分かったろ
Oh my goodness, what an end to the battle! The first of the Elite Three being taken out in such an elegant fashion, and his words there are perfection afterwards. Max wins for that ending, powerful stuff.
もう泣くだけ泣いた行かなきゃみんな戦ってるんだ
Nami continues to prove her worth in the story. Aside from having a fantastic story herself, we get her resolve to help her soon-to-be crewmates again, and I love it.
貴様よくも蜂を貴様
Sanji being a legend just in time.
ビーの首が伸びてる
ごめん 体ごと引っ張る力はないけど
Literally started laughing when I saw that, but not because I found it funny, but purely because I found it seriously clever.
お願い早く
Oh, that wasn't getting a win until they threw that in at the very end. After the music cut out, that's so good. Usopp is still running and annoyed at his persistence.
このまま貴様も沈めてやるこのたかが人間が
My boy Sanji again with the assist when it's most needed.
快速腹下し蹴り冗談爆笑
I think thus far a good job is done of animating them within the water, slowing things down a little for humans and changing the sound slightly. I'd be a liar if I said, in spite of the dangers, that this didn't make me laugh with how furiously he's suddenly in the background swimming upwards.
全く呆れた強さだ人間とは思えん
Actually makes for a seriously interesting and rather excruciating element to the arc and its battles. The whole they can breathe underwater but our heroes naturally can't.
圧迫し直角
The worst thing about this was being so tantalizingly close to the surface and air, only to be sucked all the way back down to the bottom. It's so infuriating, bruh. Also take another one here because this is the biggest JoJo type situation to date. I literally haven't the faintest idea how he's going to come back from this and I cannot wait. Also, that right there is a good showing of the underwater effects I mentioned.
てめえも魚なら同じ苦しみだろう
Yep, I haven't thought of that. That's so clever to block his gills so now he couldn't breathe. And another one, because it highlights the utter badass Sanji was, that this guy managed all of 3 seconds of not being able to breathe, and yet Sanji was under there for like 5 minutes plus.
ペロだ氷
Wow, I didn't think it'd attack him right there as he was claiming he was going to take him out. Not only was that a well-deserved anti-anime trope win, but the animation was gorgeous on the kick. Also what was gorgeous though was the destruction animation, still some of the best and most consistent looking I've ever seen in any anime for that matter. Well, just like Zoro with his final move earlier, it'd be silly to not give Sanji his own max wins for finishing this guy in such spectacular fashion. I continue to love it.
デザートはいらねえか
For some reason, I really enjoyed that line. Ah, that's good. Yes, have one more for that. That consistent damage shown to both sides of the attack from the initial hit to the exit hole.
てめえよくも俺の大切な
So this is what I'm talking about when I say he's unique. He's genuinely really sad and angry in this moment. Like I said, it makes him the perfect contrast to Krieg, really.
ゲンさん代わって今度は私が
だいぶ顔色が良くなってるな
かなり水は吐いたよ
I'm so glad they add bits like this. Years ago on my Singe channel, I'd have been trying to be clever, talking about how long he's been under there, but here they sweep that aside with this update.
信じられない気持ちだけどこの戦いに希望すら湧いてきたよ
Damn man, I feel so smart adding that win, I think around 6 episodes back, about the kids seeing the Marines all happy, but her having a face of caution, and now finally she's allowing herself to hope and smile. This flicking between heroes that's only really started this arc has been done so well. When you consider episode endings and pacing, it's fit beautifully since I think it's the first time properly.
の時のために作っておいてよかったぜケチャップ星
I mean, that's legit amazing because it's what I meant quite a few episodes back when I said I figured Nami would stab into a pouch so it looked like blood rather than her hand, and he has one.
俺たちは当然のことをしたまでだ
負けるくらいなら死んだ方がマシだ
私のビジネスのためこうするしかなかった
戦うぞ
What a truly outstanding moment. All he wants to do is go home alive, sell the story of how hard he fought. But he's blasted by memories of those fighting still on the island. He's even crying, torn between saving his skin and running and returning to help his friends. Then you factor in his old crew and her, easiest max wins in a while. That's what I mean when I say you cannot call him a coward. Yes, of course he wanted to leave. Any normal person would in that position. But he stands up and fights for his friends. Guy's a legend. I tell you, some of the writing on this is so damn good, it reminds me a lot of the greatest of Hunter x Hunter personally. He says a lot here and it's too much to show all of it copyright wise, but the line here was by far my favourite as it felt the most meaningful to his feelings. Not gonna lie, although it'd be weird to lie, it hurts seeing him get hit like this, and I think it's because of the whole crew he's the closest to being an average dude. But then this is where he shines. Outside of the cunning and running, he's able to use tools greatly to his advantage. This was touched on by a commenter back in like episode 10, and I see it a lot now. Man, the power of these dudes is insane. They make for such interesting opponents in such an early arc. Again, it's too long to show so much of, but basically him spilling his heart out here towards his friends back home, I thought was a lovely and realistic detail to add in. Two max wins, and you might be going, really, for a slingshot and hammer attack? But it's more than that. For me, the best detail was him relaxing, only to force himself into action once more, understanding he couldn't rest there, and instead had to quickly go onto the attack to take advantage of the situation, and I friggin' loved that! Plus the rest. And my guy can have a follow-up win for being totally anime anti again, for not allowing him to get up, having a long chat with him and letting himself be attacked, but going and hitting him more. Take a final one here for him. Can you even imagine how proud of himself he'd be in this moment? He actually did it. There's no lies involved. He won that battle. It's great to me.
まるで散弾銃だ。
さっさとくたばれ。大した価値はねえんだぜ。てめえらの命なんざよ。
アーロン！あんたを殺しに。
Rather than split this win into singles, creating more editing work, I'll end the episode with max wins. Firstly, they always end the episodes in the best places, but secondly, we got some lore about mermen.
俺たちといた8年間、何度俺を殺そうとした。暗殺、毒殺、奇襲。
Another really nicely added tidbit of information that Nami hadn't fully accepted her fate every day for 8 years and on some occasions had attempted to take him out.
お前は俺から逃げられん。
Symbolism!
あいつの言葉を疑っちゃいけない。
I'd show far more of it if I could, but this moment here is the crux of the whole win anyway. It's that weighty decision she's being forced to make, and that sound really adds to the insane tension.
私と一緒に死んで。
For those who need the translation, that's basically a very powerful okay, almost a hell yeah. But again, great symbolism of Nami escaping the web, and I love how everyone is so on board with freeing her. It freaking worked! I don't think I've been this hyped in ages. Luffy is back in the game.
30秒。それ以上は持たねえ。
Oh god, he's so awesome!
おっさん、風車は行かすのに。
そんなこと今はどうでもよかろう。
Again, for those who need it, he's calling him old man, but obviously the win is for the pinwheel comment and his reaction.
なんて堂々とした登場だ。
Okay, 2 wins. Firstly, he's back and actually helping out in spite of their funny reaction to where he is. But also how they did this zoom out shot.
シュウ貴様が
俺様の登場で戦いは一気にクライマックス。
I really like the way he thinks in this moment. Sounds so badass. And as I thought, he really is proud of himself.
てめえらの好きにさせてたまるか。
Where I come from, that's a good old-fashioned plot twist. I figured this guy was down for the count.
つまんなくなへずろバカが
This is legit the first time watching the anime where I was like, ah, that's not good at all. Also though, come on man, they really didn't have to animate the sequence, but they did it anyway.
ウッソープ。
俺の前に立ちはだかるって。
今だ。いけそら。
あんた何がしたいのよ。
しまった。輪ゴムが飛んでくるかと思った。
The fact that he was hiding down there from Usopp for like nearly 3 minutes or something, just to clarify, the bit of Usopp was a little earlier and the payoff came a few minutes later.
巨人。
Just like her adopted sister, I find it great how the women in this anime are useful. I always think of Naruto, I think it was, I sinned years back. The one woman always seemed useless.
どこかで転んだよ。なぜ立っていられるんだ。
Such a fat win for someone who hates humans like him to be so utterly shocked by how a human can have such a devastating wound and yet actually have engaged his men in battle and won a fight.
開かねえ傷もあったのにな。
そういうこと、てめえでてめえがおかしい。
I found this so interesting because Arlon is caught in thoughts. He knows he needs to take him out, but at the same time, he can't quite bring himself to end it right there. How Zoro knew that with those wounds he inflicted, he'd end up taking himself out if he moved around so freely, and it came true.
だじゃねえか。だいたいてめえが話をややこしくしたんだ。
Luffy is finally free! Big win! It's pretty cool that Luffy assesses the situation whilst in the air and dropping down and rescues Zoro in that time. Fantastic looking attacks that actually lands hard. He really is the best opponent against him. Take one more for that because those damage effects at the end are just...
何かやってた。
準備運動。
What I love about Luffy is that you know he isn't bluffing. If he was really shocked, he'd let us know.
俺とお前の絶望的な違いは何だ。
花。ご。
That... that caught me off guard. So simple but so perfect. Got me worried about the fight this has because Luffy was very much dodging with everything he had. Not running away on the spot.
魚なんかに俺が負けるか。俺は海賊王になる男だ。
The studio absolutely has a wins vein here in terms of how often they wrap up episodes with cliffhangers, plot twists, awesome sounding statements, and more.
柱を噛み砕くことが。
なの。噛みつかなくても石は割れるぞ。
Luffy proving in his own way his abilities as a human. I don't need to be able to bite through it if I can smash it with my fists.
海に沈んでも一人じゃ上がってこれねえてめえに。
何もできねえから助けてもらうんだ。
Arlong keeps hitting him with what he thinks are great points, but Luffy keeps countering with his own. He doesn't need to rely on just his own strength because he has his Nakama for that, his BFFs. Feels so good when he actually lands a hard attack. Oh hell yes, that gets a win on its own. I wondered why he smacked him in the mouth with the sword so hard. Turns out it was to test if his teeth could handle his attack, and they couldn't.
怪術も持ってないし、料理も作れねえし。
Here he is again on from win number 1008, basically stating why A Crew is so important and why his means so much to him, something beyond good friends and allies.
嘘もつけねえ。おい。
てめえに一体何ができる？
お前に勝てる。
もし死んだら殺してやる。
援護は任せろ。
See, that's what I mean. He's giving straightforward answers. This is what he can do for them in this moment, and obviously the whole crew is more than on board with that. It's great how well thought out this whole arc has been. It's really allowed for each of them to have their own moment in the here and now outside of Nami's brilliant backstory playing out.
何度で？
That's gross, and it's got me nervous again, I'm not gonna lie. But why would I lie to you though? You're not my mum and my room is clean! That right there is a plot twist I really didn't see coming a mile off, and he's so casual about it when he gets up. All of the tasty animation in the aftermath of this attack. The battle keeps on being unexpected though. Another time the animators had to draw so much stuff for it to be on screen for all of 4 seconds. Everyone thinks Luffy is messing around, but he is being serious here and did give himself another way of attacking. It's nothing short of thrilling how Luffy turns what looks to be a horrible attack into his own counterattack.
腕は無事か？
こいつは？ルフィ、海よ。海？
How his crew comes so in handy here as right away she's able to point him in the right direction.
サメがいる。あるんだよ。
Ah, Luffy is great.
海中で加速した俺のスピードは何者にも止められねえ。
Non-exposition way of letting us know that he's struggling against Luffy on the land, as much as he'd hate to admit it.
ほう、よくかわしたもんだ。
Another aspect that reminds me of Hunter x Hunter is how well utilized enemies' abilities are. It's not just they have a weapon and they use it. Instead, it's the various ways they use all of their natural abilities. Also, though, bless whoever was in charge of doing all of the damage effects all the time.
嫌だ。とっ捕まえてあいつの鼻へし折ってやる。来てみろ。サメ。
I don't know what he's planning, but I can't take much more of this.
隠れろっつうのが分かんねえのかルフィ。ゴムの。
Might seem an odd setup for a win, but the voice acting is so on point. I've really started appreciating Usopp's every episode now as well. He fits his character so nicely, and of course, Luffy is Luffy. Max wins for showcasing not one, but 2 new uses of his body. Like if I was Oda, I'd struggle to come up with maybe 3 or 4, but at this point, it's like 15 or something? Also though, just like against Captain Kuro, the attacks make sense, such as slowing him in the air with a net to then be able to attack a much slower target with power like this. Love how every villain isn't the same. He's got his own reasons to fight. He's got his reasons why he's so angry. For him, his pride is hurt because he truly believes himself to be superior. How can I mention damage effects and then not give this one?
あの才能は俺たち巨人のためにあるべきなんだ。
ナミは俺たちの航海士だ。
They continue to strike away at that wins fame with the ending to this episode yet again. Darth Weirdo, Matthew Blancett, Mao Liao, The Elemental Awards, Christopher Willis, Draki, Fancy Turtle, Kepan, Minimasher, Marquez, Orkeeper, Steelers, The Epic Commander, Birds Without a Word, Brandon Creer, Brian Bayot, Cameron, Christopher Tarasa, Commander Cyrus, Doggos for Life, Dragonstorm 35, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Aaron Winters, Guru, I Am Here, Your Edvinson, Kevin Alston, Cumfroik, Carly Welp, Lisa Marie Tim, Luis Minito, Magnus, Nathan Burr, Nightly Winter, Peter Milligan, Ruby Rose, Sataka Yari, Zionx 44, Sean, The 100s, Tiger Lily Warrior, Sumbito, Wiccan Faye, Ali 50, Brainless Ben, Cecilia, Cedric, Cloud Garden, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Devon, Iso, Garrett Vermish, Gibbs, Isel Caldera, Jason Davies, John, Jafford 6263, Calnock, Kevin Nelter, Kevink 102, Knuckle Duster, Chris Madden, KY158, Carl Jones, Laxor, Laxus, Liam Gogati, Lifty, Lionel Schultz, Marvin, Malcarius, Michael Lewis, Modiverum, Mudini, Mr. Firecool, Natsu Dragneel, Nick Monaco, Nick Pell, 9028, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Q Flash, Ryan DeVirus, Sentimento, Storm 970, TRS, The Danish Muggle, Tricky Nicky, Willyman.